James Montesi's wines are next from the Tre Veneto by the producer Albino Armani. I'll tell you all about these splendid, beautiful wines, Pinot Grigio wines, that I think you should be tasting because I think they're absolutely delightful, delicious, and wonderful. Stay tuned and I'll tell you all about it. So be sure to subscribe to this channel. You see the latest videos that I'm producing. If you've already subscribed, molto grazie to you. I do appreciate it. And be sure to give a like to this video. I think Pinot Grigio is handsome, wonderful, beautiful, and alluring. And it's a wine variety that I absolutely love. And I think a lot of people are on the fence about it sometimes. Some people really, really like it. And other people are like, it's okay or it's acceptable. I think to me it's more than acceptable. It's a beautiful variety, and it's one where it is completely at home in the Tre Veneto in Northeast Italy. And I think to me this is really a fantastic, beautiful producer. Now, Albino Armani was hosting the Zoominar and passionately talking about his house, and the family's been making wine since 1607, so for a very long time. He is a 16th generation winemaker. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you've already subscribed, molto grazie to you. I do appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. You'll see the latest videos that I'm producing. Now, the family owns 750 acres, about 304 hectares. Now, so the Tre Veneto are the Veneto, Friuli, and Trentino. I'll put a map right here so you can see this region. It is my goal, it is my quest, and it is my mission to, maybe talk to my friends who are really stuck on a particular Pinot Grigio and help them to really discover a full spectrum of beautiful producers. And definitely this producer has some really fantastic wines and all approachable. So very, very approachable price points, beautiful, gorgeous, thoughtful wines. I love that this producer is just absolutely, just passionate about Pinot Grigio because I think it shows in the glass. It shows in what Albino Armani is doing. Albino Armani is really essential in terms of bringing this Pinot Grigio house to the marketplace in terms of just really beautiful, fantastic wines that I think show elegance and grace in the glass itself, as well as he's a chairman of the Consorzio Delle Venezie DOC. And I think that's a pivotal position to be in, right? Because it's talking about Pinot Grigio. So it's essential to talk about the Tre Veneto Pinot Grigio wines because I think they really are polished and beautiful and gorgeous. Now, these wines are vegan friendly, and they are also SQNPI, which is a sustainable certification. So let me show you on one of these labels right here. They're all labeled with this B, and that's showing that they are sustainably certified wines. And a little closer so you can look at that. That is, two top questions all in one. So a lot of people come to me asking for, vegan wines because they don't have a list and they're not always listed on the label itself. And so I really want to, trumpet that call where possible, and also sustainable wines, because that's another big question I get. Today we're seeing many more producers who are putting on their labels all their certifications and certifications that will be coming forth. So if you're not certain that's a vegan wine, definitely look at their websites as well. Now, Italy produces 39% of the world's Pinot Grigio, and most of that is in Tre Veneto, which accounts for 85% of Italian production. Now, Pinot Grigio is the third most popular wine variety in the United States. So that is one fact that I was not aware of and completely surprised by that. Now, the Tre Veneto are protected by the Alpi, the Alps, and that really helps to moderate temperatures as well as an Adriatic Sea influence. So all these come together, and if that weren't enough, it's additionally that the soil types are going to be very specifically, I think, optimized for Pinot Grigio production. So in the Veneto, you have Morianic and alluvial soils. In the Friuli, you have clay and stony soils. And in the Valdadige, you have calcareous and alluvial soils. And so I think that it really comes into play. So there are many aspects to sustainability, and some of those that Albino Armani touches on are the ecosystem protection, returning to community, so giving back to the community, producing their own yeast, as well as recovery of ancient grape varieties. I did ask that question. I believe there are 10 varieties that they are working on and have worked on for a very long period of time to make sure that those grape varieties are protected, as well as energy efficiency and saving water. So they're looking at soil health, pest management, and resistant vines as well. They have 100 kilometers they've devoted to bike paths on their property itself. So, when they look at conservation, they look at sustainability, they look at that from a 360 point of view. Because this is a house of Pinot Grigio, they have taken a very special, I think, keen interest in educating and talking to people like myself, which also helps me to talk to an audience such as yourself. They have beautiful graphics here, and this is all courtesy of Albino Armani, showing, say, for example, look at the beginning growth in, say, July, August, September. So you go from a green fruit to a gray group. This is not a red wine, it is a gris. The name of the grape itself is Pinot Gris or Pinot Grigio, and it definitely lives up to that name. So in each wine berry, you can see in the esocarp and the mesocarp on this graphic to see what it is contributing to the wine itself. I think this is such a cool graphic, I love it. So this is the point of passion, POP as I call this, and the POP is looking at this in terms of Pinot Grigio, talking about every aspect of this wine grape. Now I've seen so many presentations, master classes and so forth, but to go in this level of detail, I think it's first of all absolutely beautiful. I love it, and I think it's really remarkable. So I can taste the passion from Albino Armani, and to see, you know, how he's so devoted to this wine grape and how it does produce so many amazing experiences, and to enjoy the food or on its own. It's a really remarkable set of wines. Now the producer is based in Dolce in Valdadige, so I'll put a picture right here so you can see the beautiful cantina, the house of the producer itself. So 2 of these are screw cap wines and 2 of these are not. And I'll tell you about each characteristic. I'll talk about the wines, including vinification. So first of all, I'm going to talk about this wine first. Now this is the Albino Armani, this is the Delle Venezie, and again, remember that Albino Armani is the chairman of the Consorzio. 2020 vintage, back label for you to look at here. And so this is a 12.5% ABV wine. The price point is stunning. It's a stellar wine, $11.99 suggested retail price point. So I think it's an exceptional wine price for a very exceptional wine. So the vinification on this wine is long fermentation in stainless steel tanks, aging in contact with its own yeast until bottling. A mid-hay colorization. Next is the palate characterization. So on this, a very, very nice energetic nose, very fresh and clean wine. On this, I'm getting a characterization of dried citrus peel, as well as white stone fruit and almond notation, and a bit of fennel characterization as well. Next is the palate characterization. On this, a lively acidity is giving a nice framing for the pear, apple, white stone fruit notes, as well as flower notation. 93 points out of 100 points. I would serve this with my 3 mushroom risotto. I think it would go quite well with that, as well as hard cheeses. I think would go very, very nicely with this wine. Next, I'll talk about the Friuli Pinot Grigio. This wine, this is the Albino Armani Friuli Grave DOC Tenuta de Sequals. This is Pinot Grigio 2020 vintage, and there's a back label for you to look at. This is a 12.5% ABV wine, $12.99. So definitely, there's the only thing I can say about this is a fantastic wine. I'll give you some notes and some reasons why, but I think it is a complete value and something that I think is absolutely luminous. So when you think of Pinot Grigio, think Pinot Noir, and to me, I definitely get some characterization, and I definitely get a sense of Pinot Noir. So the originating grape is evident in the wine glass. So this is giving a characterization of white peach, white nectarine notes, minerals, as well as broken stones in moisture, as well as a bit of almond notation. Next is the palate characterization. So I love the contrast between the nose and the palate. The palate is really giving a characterization of yellow stone fruit compared to the nose of white stone fruit notes. Very minerally rich wine, sea spray, and very nice collection of rich, beautiful white flower notation. And so this is 93 points out of 100 points. And next I'll talk about the Valdadige Corvara Pinot Grigio. So this wine is next. This is the Albino Armani Valdadige Corvara Pinot Grigio 2020 vintage. Now here's the back label for you to look at here. $14.99 suggested retail price point. So this is a high quality wine at such a reasonable price point. And so here we go with this wine. Now this vinification is the same as the previous 3 wines. Long fermentation in stainless steel tanks, aging in contact with its own yeast until bottling. So this is a different wine because it is a different terroir. So to me, I think this is really speaking very, very nicely a Pinot Grigio language, one that is completely familiar and outstandingly beautiful. So I'm getting a very nice peak ripeness of Yellowstone fruit, very rich and appreciable floral notation, and cracked oyster shell, salinity and minerality is expressed in the nose itself. Next is the palate characterization. So very, very lovely structure to this wine. It is vinified in a way that I think you're tasting the fullness of the fruit itself. It is not being coy, it is not being shy, it is just being Pinot Grigio, doing what it does best. And so the characterization are highly nuanced winter fruit characterization, a bit of apricot note, hint of fennel, seashell, sea spray, and white flowers. This is 94 points out of 100 points. So a really good price point for 94-point wine. Now the last review is this wine here, Albino Armani. This is Valdadige, TerradiForti. This is a Colle Ara Pinot Grigio 2020 vintage. Here's a back label for you to look at here. Now this is a $21.99 suggested retail price point, 13% ABV. So you're going to see here the appellation to this wine, and so you're also going to see a difference in the glass itself, which I'll pour right now. The color is fantastic, and you can probably see, I can actually see in the video itself that it definitely shows the true color of this wine. So while all these other wines here are a straw colorization, now these wines right here are that true definitive no skin contact Pinot Grigio wines, and that means that they're going to be a very nice somewhat of a medium straw colorization, so completely straw colorization. This is a rose gold colorization, and it is not an orange wine, it is not a rosé wine, and so it definitely has that characterization that is absolutely, you know, just a point of difference. It's beautiful. It does taste, I would say, very different compared to these three wines here. And I think it really comes across very, very nicely. So the color is known also as ramato. So Colle means hill, and the Ara would mean altar. And so you can think of that in terms of, say, the Ara Pacis in Rome. So this is supposed to have, I believe, some heritage or connection to the Roman times as well. So the hilltop with the altarpiece. And so I think this is, again, a very point of difference wine. The colorization is absolutely outstandingly beautiful and luminous, as each of the berries are selected. So anything in terms of not being the highest quality berries, they're actually taken out. So this is hand sorted. So it goes through a long process, quality process, to get this wine exactly the way Albino wants this wine. So soft pressing, cold maceration on the skins for one night. So I believe it's not just one night, it's a 24-hour period. And maturation in contact with its own yeast in stainless steel tanks and partially in wood until bottling. And so, you know, the point of difference here is you get some wood contact, oak contact, probably not a lot. And so the colorization definitely gives a characterization that is completely different than these three wines. So on this, I'm getting notes of quince, pear, a bit of citrus notation, fresh, rich wildflowers. And I think that's the nice characterization of this wine. Next is the palate notation. So that 24-hour period where there's skin contact, I think it's really giving a definitive, very different characterization than if it had no skin contact. So very clean wine, hint and uptake of lemon zest, pear, apricot preserve, as well as flowers and seashells. And I think it's really nicely done. 94 points out of 100 points. I think, to me, to taste a point of difference wine is really nice in Pinot Grigio. So every wine that Albino Armani is producing are all definitively different from each other. And I think that should go to speak for the region. It should speak for the Pinot Grigio coming from Veneto, because I think they're handsome, beautiful, polished wines, and one where, you know, keep an open mind, you know, be explorative, try different producers. And I convinced one of my friends, like, please give other wine producers a try, because I think there's so many beautiful wines coming from the Veneto and some really good price points as exemplified here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. More information on the producer down below. Also check out their Instagram, which is also listed below, so you can see the beautiful photography of the site itself and what they're accomplishing. And I'm a big fan, and I can't wait to visit at some point in the future. So let me know your questions down below, as well as your comments. What do you think about Pinot Grigio? What do you think about the producers in the Veneto? And do you have favorite producers? I'd like to know. And also, have you tried these wines? I'd be curious to know that as well. So please subscribe to the channel. And if you've already done so, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. And if you haven't done so, consider doing so. You'll see the latest videos that I'm producing. Share this video with somebody who loves Pinot Grigio, especially from the Veneto in Italia. So give a try, taste on these wines. They're fantastic, food-friendly wines. I think my risotto, 3 mushroom risotto, pairs very well with each of these, as well as hard cheeses. salumi I think are fantastic. Roasted chicken, salmon on this particular wine right here is my go-to for this wine. And so many ways to envision your experience with this wine. Thank you for watching. Stay connected. Many more wines to be tasted on my tasting table. Come back for more. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support, and I will see you very soon. Salute!